I will just quickly, basically share my story, share a few lessons from the story, and take a few questions.
Great.
Okay, so the question today is how to survive crisis. What entrepreneurs should be doing at this time, and um,
So they say you should increase your volume.
I
Probably maybe
should
you
give my
raise your
volume.
voice.
Okay, let me try and do that. Is it
Okay.
clearer now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So what I want to do very quickly is just share a little of my story, and then use that story as a benchmark to pull out a few lessons. You probably will learn more lessons that I can share from the story. That's the beauty of stories. And then from that story, if there are any questions you want to ask, I'll take those questions and we will be done. I hope that we'll be able to do this within a few minutes, so that I can share with you exactly what happened with me, with us, how we did it, and how we are still doing it. Um, so I like to start with a story, and this is a real life story that happened to me and the business that I run. So I started doing, like Chris introduced, I am a serial entrepreneur. I've gotten my hands in a variety of businesses over the course of the last 14 years. I left paid employment around 2006. I'd worked as HR in two big organizations. I became a senior manager, and I left to start my own business, to do HR consulting, training, recruiting, and the rest of them. And somewhere along the line, I stumbled on business and decided to do a few businesses here and there. I stumbled on network marketing. I saw that somebody raised that question. Many people are not familiar with the concept or how it works, or how you can leverage with it. But it's something I learned and I was doing that in combination with other businesses as well that involved buying and selling, involved basically taking a business and seeing how we could multiply it by many, many factors. So flash forward to 2015. 2015, I got in touch with a company that was selling herbal supplements or herbal bitters, and they came to meet us with the desire to say, you guys are good at selling, you're good at marketing, can you sell this on our behalf? We've been doing this for 7 years and it hasn't really been successful. We would like if you can help us. So I took on the challenge after a little reluctance to say, let's try this product out, let's see what we can do. We've already built a network of distributors and marketers. Let us see how we can run this. And ladies and gentlemen, from a business that had struggled to do a turnover of 6 million in 7 years, in the year 2016, 2015, we took this business and we did a turnover of about 1 billion naira. In 2016, we did another 1 billion naira. We're on track to do the same thing in 2017 and even do more, where something dastardly, unplanned, and what you call a crisis happened to us April 1, 2017. So April 1, 2017, I just came back that day. It's April Fool's Day. I came back that day from from South Africa, I think. I came from South Africa, got in around 8 p.m., quickly had a few meetings. I usually have a meeting at 8 o'clock regularly every day. Had my 8 o'clock meeting, was trying to do my dinner after the meeting when I got a call, and the call said, rush to the office, the warehouse is on fire. In our warehouse, we had a variety of products. So over the last 10 years, we've sold healthy ovens, we've sold pressure cookers, we've sold ionizer cups, we've sold ionizing machines, we've sold televisions, we've sold, name it, different appliances, alarm padlocks, gas regulators, etc. We've sold, tire pumps, sold a variety of products through our channels, and we had a lot of things in our warehouse. We had made our own phones, we had made our own tablets, we had done tabs for schools, we had gotten involved in a lot of physical, training, retail products. Of course, we did services as well. We did training, we did travels, we did real estate. But in that warehouse, we had loads of products that we were selling. And so when I heard about the fire, that fire was going to basically be rampaging through over 400 million naira worth of value. Of course, I rushed over to the office very quickly. We tried to get water. We tried to get people. We tried to call water service. It took a while. They came, truck after truck after truck after truck. We had about 13 trucks that night. We're there from 10 p.m. till 4 a.m. trying to contain this fire. As fate will have it, this fire rampaged the entire warehouse and basically destroyed everything. Okay, everything. So we watched our entire warehouse and stock burn to ground. And if you wanted to get a picture of what that looked like, that's what they look like. So if you look at the warehouse from one side, This was what it looked like. It was, if those things you can see there are like metals there, used to be healthy ovens. And if you know what they call halogen ovens, so halogen ovens, there's a glass cover, there's a metal base, it looks good. You can use it to do barbecue, you can use it to do make roasted food, you can use it to do granola, you can use it to do a variety of things. You can cook food in it. So we sold this as our own unique product. We call it HW Healthy Ovens. We have sold thousands, actually. We have sold over 10,000 of it, and we still had in the warehouse over 2,000. So that's what you can see there. Some of the things you can see there as well are pressure cookers. And of course, we had the beaters we were selling. We had over 8,000 cartons of the beaters. We had the new brand we were going to launch about 8 days down the line. We had the old one we were facing out. The warehouse was stocked to capacity. It was full to the brim. And when the fire happened, the fire basically destroyed everything. And when the fire destroyed everything, everybody was wondering why we're putting out the fire. Everybody was asking what's going on here, who caused this fire? How is this going to happen? What are we going to do? Of course, we didn't want the fire to catch other buildings near us as well. So we're meeting okay, look, let's fix this. We don't want fire to spread from our own place to other places as well. In this fire, not only did we have the product burnt, we also had 3 offices burnt. So we had a complex where we were renting out offices to people as well. So we had a 1 acre space where we occupied. We had the warehouse there. We had offices there. And that office had burnt, like 3 offices had burnt. The warehouse had burnt. Some of my offices had burnt as well. It was really, really bad. And I was sharing the story to say that was 3 years ago. That was April 1, 2017. Of course, immediately that happened, I did a video recording, which I shared on my Facebook page to say, guys, this has happened to us, but it's not the end of the world. We're not destroyed by adversity. We're strengthened by adversity. From fires of our current realities will rise a beautiful future. And that was shared the day after. So the day after, I called the video guys. We did a video recording. We were supposed to have an event on the 9th of April where we are going to give out televisions, give out, gifts to people. And everybody felt, wow, man, this is bad. This is not going to happen anymore, because all of the things we wanted to give out were in the warehouse as well. But what we did was, we're not going to let any fire be the one that stopped us from making our commitments. We will go ahead with our commitments. It's a very terrible thing that's happened, but we are alive, we are well, and because we are alive and well, we will marshal our energies together, we will rally our teams together, and ensure that we will be better than this. Now, so that was the resolution that we had at that time. We told ourselves, this has happened, we'll go beyond this. And true to the script, by the 9th of April, that same month, we did our event. We called everybody together, gave IVs out, did the event we wanted to do, and then start a gradual process of recovery to say, how do we keep in business? How do we keep driving? How do we organize our energies? How do we focus on insurance? How do we focus on all the key players to ensure that we can get what we get? As I speak to you today, is 3 years after. We still haven't collected a penny from insurance. We're still dragging the case with them. Nothing of respite has happened to what we have lost. We were able to get the property owners to execute their own part of the insurance to ensure that we could fix some of the buildings that had been burned by fire. But as far as our resource and our warehouse was concerned, we were not able to get anything back. But guess what? That was 3 years ago. In those 3 years, we have started a manufacturing company. In those 3 years, we have started producing our own brand of herbal bitters. In those 3 years, we have regrouped to rebuild our team. In those 3 years, we have battered a new product. We have currently about over 10 SKUs of products that we manufacture, from the Reader herbal bitters to Reader variation supplements, to Restore for women, Fire for men, Fat burner, cleanser. We now have a disinfectant. We have hand sanitizers. We have balms, 20 mils, 40 mils. We basically have, taken off from here and are building again. Are we back to the volumes we were at the time of doing $1 billion turnover in a year? Well, we expect that this year is a year that will bring us back into those numbers. But we've done close to those numbers in the last 2-3 years as well. So we're basically regarding our energies and building momentum. Today, we have a lot more control of our business than we had then, because then we were dependent on suppliers, we were dependent on importation, we were dependent on a variety of things, but now we currently grow and develop our own products, and we're moving that into the space. So we have a little more control. Now, the question is, what has helped us to go through this phase in the last 3 years and to be where we are now? Like I said to you, we're not at the perfect place yet. We expect that right about now in this third year of this occurrence is when we really spring into amazing possibilities and amazing potentials. But the last 2 years have been very, very interesting. We've learned a lot of lessons. This challenge I've shared with you is not the only challenge that we've had. So this was like the beginning of our crisis. After this, I have 4 other stories that I'm sure I can share with you that will rock your mind if I tell you that we went through them as well. But guess what? Many people don't even go through this and they get stroke and they die. Many people cannot stand, how can I lose 400 million naira of business? Where will I start from? But there were a few very interesting paradigms, perspectives, philosophies, and realities that has helped us to be able to grow through this way. And that's where I want to bring out the lessons from, to say these are the things you probably want to fortify your mind as a business person and ensure that, as you're doing business, you want to succeed as well. So I've tried to basically streamline them into what I'll call 5 P's. And I can't exhaust them. Like I said, I want to share very quickly. I don't want to share, it happened to somebody. I want to share what happened to me, what I experienced, what I witnessed, and how, we're taking off from that space, how we ensured that our life didn't end with that particular challenge. So and I'd like you to learn. I'm going to share with you the way I will share it in a class, and I'm going to share with you the way I'll share it personally with a friend. So I know that we're about, over 100 in this room. I'll share with you like I'll share with a coaching class, and I'll share with you like I'll share with, Jesus Christ will share with the crowd, and then he will call his disciples and say, guys, what I said there, this is interpretation. I'll try and do both for you in this class over the next few minutes. So one of the P's there is people. And I want to share this with you and say to you, if you're doing business, every business needs people. Okay. Many of us left paid employment to go into business because we felt we don't want a boss. We don't want, people. We don't want people telling us what to do and directing our lives. But I realized that in business, people are still going to direct your life. People are still going to tell you what you do. They're called customers, but we need people. And one of the things that has helped us to go through this phase was people. And I'll talk about 3 kinds of people. One, you have mentors. And that's why I respect what Chris Annie is doing here. I think it's a fantastic job of trying to mentor a generation, of trying to give guidance and give perspective and help people to go to where they want to be. You need mentors. You need people you can call and say, this is what happened to me. What do you think? Mentors were very helpful. My mentors basically told me, Diolu, this is the breakfast of champions. What has happened to you happens to everybody that becomes great. Anybody who becomes great financially will go through terrible times in business. And they shared their own stories with me. They told me about the terrible times they had been through, and that it's not the end of the world. It's actually the beginning of a new phase. So I had comfort and confidence from mentors. So people in my life had mentors. Number 2, I had colleagues. I had colleagues who I needed to be there for and who needed to be there for me. People who were looking at me as the fire was burning and wondering, what is CM going to do? Okay, that's my nickname, CM. What is CM going to do? And who are looking at my body language to determine their own body language as well. And I had to be the leader for them. I had to be the person for them. So sometimes the reason why we don't bend, why we don't break, why adversity does not throw us under the bus is because we are responsible for others. Because there are others that we're working with who will draw strength, who will draw inspiration, who will draw courage from our own journeys. And we just cannot afford to let them down. So they stimulate a high in us that we normally would not have had except for them around us. And of course, number 3 is proteges. And I tell people, no matter how young you are, no matter how inexperienced you think you are, there are people looking up to you. I can remember people looking up to me for as young as when I was 13 years old, or as young as I was when I was 15 years old. People are looking up to me and wondering, this person is my senior. I like to be like this person. I like to do like this person. This person is doing well. I want to do well like that as well. In the same way, wherever you are, life is a middle game. There are people ahead of you. There are people at the same space with you, and there are people behind you. You need to act and comport yourself and act inspirationally and behave yourself properly on behalf of the people who are coming behind you. So people give us the stamina and the strength to withstand every crisis that happens to us, because there are some of them ahead of us who can give us guidance. There's some of them with us who can give courage to each other, and there are those behind us who we can inspire. Number 2 is paradigms. And paradigms is like a complicated word, but your paradigm is your map of the world. Your paradigm is how the world is mapped in your presence and how you navigate. Because your map defines how you navigate. So if I have a map of the world and my map of the world is wrong, I will not get to the right destination. But if my map of the world is correct, if I'm working with a map that is authentic, then I can follow that map and it will get me to destination. And one of the things I tell people is when I try to teach about business or teach about how to do things, I like to help people from paradigms. I believe in what they call first principles. If you ask me today what is Pythagoras theorem, I don't know Pythagoras theorem. But if I take my pencil and my biro, I can derive Pythagoras theorem from first principles. I can go back to drawing that shape, drawing that triangle and ABC, label ABC, and looking at the angles and gradually building it up until I'm able to solve and create what Pythagoras theorem is. It's called first principles. Now, in business and in life, you need to have certain paradigms. Okay, they are the map with which you look at the world. You don't need to know the way around. Once you have Google Map, you can just follow Google Map. You don't need to know how do I get to Surulere. No, I don't need to know how to get to Surulere. I need to have a map that is very clear and authentic about how to get to Surulere. I follow that map, I will get to Surulere. Now, what are some of the paradigms that we need for business? One of these paradigms is realizing that in business, you can't control what happens to you. You can control your response. You can't control whether there will be fire. You can't control whether there will be a storm. You can't control, I had a very funny experience where I exported goods to America, about a container of stuff to America, and it got to America and it got to the border of America, and the American government said, this product is not packaged for American standards. We will either destroy this product or you need to repackage this product and you have 2 weeks. I'm operating business from Nigeria. I need to repackage products in America in 2 weeks. Otherwise, I'll have the entire container burnt down. How do you do those kind of things? You don't control what happens to you. You control how you respond to what happens to you. So one of the paradigms that drives me for business is realizing, look, everything that is happening to me is developing a story. Is developing something that will be useful to others. It's developing a comfort that others will receive. The creator of the universe is not against me, is in support of me. I'm fashioned in his image, I'm fashioned in his likeness. If anything is going on with me, it's not going well, it's because I need to develop stronger capacity. It's because I need to learn the lessons. So my paradigms about business makes me realize that failure is not an enemy. That failure is actually a necessary step in my progress. And if I want to succeed more, I must fail more. And the more I fail, the more I succeed. So I have a paradigm that tells me, for example, that every time I lose money in business, I have paid school fees. And that school fees qualifies me for a bigger course, qualifies me for a bigger certificate, and is getting me ready for handling bigger. I have lost 5,000. I have lost 50,000. I have lost 5 million. I've lost 50 million. I've lost 100 million. I lost 400 million. I must be a professor of a variety of courses. And I can go into the future with this paradigm, knowing that, you know what, bigger is coming. Bigger is coming. And whatever you fall prey to, okay, be very clear that bigger is coming. Perspectives. Number 3, perspectives. Every one of us looks at the world with different lenses. And whether you like it or not, when a friend of yours looks at something and it says it's blue in color, I look at the same time and say it's green in color, is because you're wearing different lenses. The lens you wear matters. The lens you wear determines what exactly you're going to see and how you're going to respond. And I have chosen a few lenses. I've chosen a few lenses about failure. I've chosen a few lenses about service. I've chosen a few lenses about what really is important, what really matters. What's the end game? Okay? The end game. What's the end game for business? The end game for business for me is, yes, my business must be sustainable. Okay, so money keeps my business sustainable. But the end game for me is, how many lives will mine impact? How many lives will my business touch? How many lives will what I'm doing be able to reach out to? So the end game for me is number of people. So for me, wealth is N times V times K. So wealth is N times V times K. That's the formula you may want to write down. Wealth is N times V times K. What is N? N is number of people. V is value, the perception of value, and K is the coefficient of perception. So for me, wealth is how many people I can add value to who perceive my value as value. And with those perspectives, I realized that people are not inspired by your mountain seasons. People are inspired by how you move from your valley seasons to your mountain seasons. So my perspective is, if anything bad happens to me, I need to find the reason why it happened to me. I need to find how it will be useful in what I'm doing. So I learned, for example, at the time of our fire incident, that it happened to Samsung one day as well, that Samsung didn't actually get a fire incident. The MD of Samsung actually packed the entire warehouse out, called all his employees together. They surrounded the entire warehouse and he told them to set it on fire. And they all joined together in setting on fire. And he said to them, we are setting on fire our mediocrity. We are setting on fire our failures, and we're telling ourselves that this is the least quality we will ever produce as a company. And they set it on fire together. They did a bonfire night with it, and they told themselves we are rising away from this. And I said, in our own case, we didn't set it on fire. Okay, it was set on fire by what they call force majeure, the act of God. Okay, we accepted it in good faith, and we told ourselves, from these ashes will rise our beautiful future. And we told ourselves, you know what? Every time we think about turning back, we ask ourselves, we look at what happened to us, and we tell ourselves, no, this must end as a beautiful story. It will not end this way. Number 4, philosophies. Okay, whether we like it or not, we are a product of how we think. We're a product of the things we have believed. We're a product of our thought life. Okay, and those philosophies are things that we've developed over time. We've developed these philosophies over time as this is how I see the world. This is how the world plays out to me. This is what this is how I think. So I tell people, essentially, you want to have your life also underscored by the right philosophies. You want to tell yourself, you know what do I believe? What's my belief system? Fail. First attempt in learning. Okay, I fail. It's an attempt in learning. My philosophy is, yes, in business, I will have challenges. Okay, but I must overcome them. My philosophies are, mountain seasons are beautiful seasons. People listen to you when there's a lot of money in your hand, but what they are listening to is what happened to you in your valley seasons. I remember a time when I was invited to come and speak in a university, 2006, 2007, 2006, 2007. And I was having the same platform with the MD of GT Bank. And then GT Bank spoke before me, and he spoke very well. At that time, it was Tayo Adenyokun, and were the two speakers in that event. It was economics, Faculty of Economics, in Obafemi Awolowo University. And after he spoke, I saw that while he was speaking, some of the students were sleeping. They were bored. He was talking about very high level stuff. I was really blessed by his presentation. I was really thrilled by his presentation. And then after him, I was going to speak. And I saw that he waited a bit behind to say, let me listen to this young man. Because I was a bit younger, much younger then. And I spoke. And as I spoke, I saw the whole crowd come to life. I saw the lecturers, excited. I saw everybody taking notes. I saw everybody, charged up. And as I was speaking, I realized something. And I think I shared it with them. I said, you know what? The reason why this man wasn't inspirational for you is because he has forgotten his valley seasons. He has forgotten when the whole bank was in one house. He has forgotten when the whole bank was trying to get a license, and it was 1 million naira, and that 1 million naira required 24 investors to start them out in 1991. This man has forgotten when they had to pack all their stuff together in one room and keep paying them in one room for about 6 months before the bank launched out. And I tell people that when you forget your valley seasons, you lose your power to inspire. Okay, so for me, it's a philosophy that those valley seasons I must never forget. I must document them. I must write them on a book. I must document them somewhere. I must go through whatever it is I'm going through in life, not forgetting, because where the next generation will be inspired is not when I have $1 billion in my bank account. Oh yes, that will inspire them. But what will make that story inspiring is that I went through the furnace. I went through the storms. I went through the fires. I went through the waters to come to where I am. So you need to guide yourself with right philosophies. And of course, these philosophies, these perspectives, these paradigms, they come from reading. They come from, if you see behind me, there are books behind me. If you look behind me, you see books there. If you look at the other side behind me, there are books there. You read, you develop yourself. You invest in your personal development. You invest in your growth. You invest in knowing. You invest in learning. You want to read and learn. And of course, principles. So there are principles in this life. And these principles, they are self-enforcing. They call them true north principles. And true north principles are, it doesn't matter your creed, it doesn't matter your religion, it doesn't matter your faith. The true north principles are principles that tie us all together. So for example, there's a law that we all accept that says karma. Okay, karma is a true north principle. If I do good to you, I expect that good will be done to me. If I do evil to you, it will catch up with me. The golden rule says, do to others what you expect them to do to you as well. Now, by living true to some of these true north principles of collaboration. If I want to work with you and do stuff with you, then I must think about your own progress as I'm thinking about my progress. If I want to sell things to you, I need to think about, do you need what I want to sell? I need to put myself in your shoes and ask, what is your challenge? What are you looking for? What idea do you need? How does this idea work? Does it give you benefits? And what are your next steps? My selling script must put you into consideration. It's a true north principle. I must think win-win. A true north principle will be that if I really want to engage with you, I must seek to understand you before I seek to be understood. I must be vulnerable enough with you to understand your point of view before I can really communicate my point of view. So there are these principles, these basic principles we call true north principles, a variety of them. I usually do trainings. Someone says I can't hear nothing. Okay, so people can hear.
Just go on, sir. Just go on. We can hear you. That's
Okay.
person's issue.
Okay, great. So there are principles that you need to build up on, and I can give you a variety of them. I do a teaching on leadership, and in this leadership training as well, there are principles that you must learn. There are principles of how do I plan my life. I don't just wake up every morning and just do what comes my way. I have a goal. I have a plan. I begin with the end in mind. I organize my life. I organize my thoughts. I organize things I want to do, and I try to prioritize the things that are big and important for me. And I try to ensure that the things that are important never are at the mercy of the things that are not important. Now, there are principles that guide this thing. So when we had our crisis, not one day did we fail to pay our staff salaries. Not one day did we fail to make the commitments we had done to our distributors. Not one day did we, no, because we can't afford to do that. Yes, we've had challenges. People knew there were things we had to delay a bit and say, guys, this one is going to have a delay because this is what has happened. This is the reality, but don't worry, we will owe nobody. We will ensure that everybody is taken care of and everything is done well and at the right time. So these principles are principles you want to guide yourself by. They are true north principles. You guide yourself by them, you will do well. Like I said to you, I'll share with you like I'll share in public, and this is for the public. Now, if I come private and you come to me and say, Egbon, tell me, how did you do this thing? How did you really go through this? And I'll tell you my private side. I say, you know what? Do not fear. God is in control. Okay? And this is crucial for me. This is crucial for me because everybody, somebody, a friend of mine told me, he said, if I saw my things getting burnt in fire and it was 400 million naira, I would jump into the fire as well. And I said to him, no, I will never jump into the fire. And he said, Diolu, I thought about you when I was going through my own crisis. There was water problem in my house. My house was flooded. I needed to get some documents. I almost drowned, but I thought about you and I realized that Diolu kept on. So I'm keeping on as well. Do not fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear is the opposite of faith. Fear is what will catch you. Fear is advance payment on problems you may never own. Now, some of these thoughts are my philosophies. They're my perspectives. Okay, but one of the things that guided me in that time, in that season, I was looking at everything born before me. I knew what was in the warehouse. I knew the value of what was there, but I wasn't afraid. I wasn't sad. I didn't share one drop of tears. I was all smiles, all trusting in God. People came to me and said, what are you going to do? And I said, don't worry. God is in control. And that's the paradigm I hold very, very deeply. I believe that nothing just happens. I believe that everything that happens is planned. Everything that happens is part of a master plan. And because God loves me and is in charge of the universe, I have nothing to fear. So whenever things are happening to me that don't look the way I'd planned them, I realize that in the midst of those things, I am getting comfort. I am getting comfort that will be useful for others when their own time comes. Okay? When their own time comes. So I told myself, fear not, God is with me. Now, of course, one of the key other principles for me is God is sovereign. So I realized key elements. God is sovereign. I realized that in this time, my relationship with God really mattered. So because where's my anchor? Who do I run to? Who do I run to and say, God, okay, what's happening? And he assures me and says, Diolu, if I told you to burn this in yourself, will you have burnt it? And I said, if you had told me to burn it myself, I won't have burnt it. He said, yes, but it needs to be burnt. So I said, okay, I surrender. If it needs to be burnt because of what you want to do in my life and where you're taking me to, then I need to walk past this. I need to walk away from this. And of course, that fire triggered a lot of things. That fire triggered a lot of mass exodus of distributors. That fire triggered a lot of even the withdrawal of the rights to distribute on behalf of the supplier. That fire triggered a lot of mishap that began to happen after it. But guess what? One of the things that held me bound and held me still at those times was I had a relationship with God. I could hear him, I could get directed by him, and I could trust him. Okay? Number three, a gift of comfort from God. So people are asking me, Diolu, how come you're not bothered? How come you're not shaking? I can't explain it. I think that was a gift. I think God gave me the gift of comfort so that I can comfort myself and I can be available to comfort others when they go through the challenges. I remember a day, a business person, someone that's doing very well in business, doing very good turnover in business, came to my office to see me. And she said, you know what? I run a fashion business. This is how I'm doing. I'm doing like 200 million naira turnover. I'm not doing badly. And I have some of these challenges and I need guidance. And I just felt I should come to you. And when she shared her story, and shared where she was, I said, okay. Let me say what I think. And I tried to share a few things. And I shared a little bit of my story. And she's like, what? You mean you went through that? He said, no, I'm sorry. I came here. I don't have problem. I don't have problem. I see everything in perspective now. I'm doing fine. Everything is fine. I can solve this. And I said, yes, you can solve this. This is not big. This is small, and you can solve it. So guess what? In every challenge we face, there's comfort installed for us to be able to handle for others. And then there's an assurance that this is not the way the story ends. And I tell people, and I'm sharing with you today again as well, if you're going through a rough patch, that's not the way your story will end. Okay? Your story is going past that rough patch. Your story is being written. And guess what? God is a master story writer. And he writes his stories in such a way that it's almost looking like the actor is going to die. It's almost looking like everything is going to fall to pieces. In fact, in his quintessential story, the actor died. Okay, but what wasn't factored in was that the actor could rise again from death after 3 days and continue the movie. But guess what? In the story of your life as well, if God had written a play where somebody rose from dead, then I don't think there's any bad thing you can fall into that you cannot rise from. This is my perspective, and my paradigms, these are my perspectives, and this is how I've been able to hold on in these times. So quickly, if I can take this and dovetail into COVID, post-COVID-19, what to learn, what to do. Now, for my own challenges, I like to say, look, what makes an entrepreneur is what fortifies your thinking, is your paradigms, your perspectives, your philosophies, your principles, the things that undergird how you think, how you look at fear, how you look at failure, how you look at people, how you look at processes, how you look at those things will define how you respond per time. Now, today, I'm building a business that I expect in the next 5 years to be worth $1 billion. Yeah, we're doing business in America, we're doing in South Africa, we're doing in Canada, we're doing in the UK. Our products are FDA certified, we're moving them around the world. We want to build properly. So when I listened to Zini, I was going to ask Zini, what kind of scale of funding do you do? Because we're at a place where in the next few years, we want to do big funding, we want to do, massive rollouts in Nigeria, expand our, factory, do more. But guess what? We came to this place, and anybody who listens to us as well, anybody who watches our life, our story, our journey, and says, tell me what you have passed through. Tell me a time when this happened to you and you go back on your feet. Tell me when this happened. We are building experience. We are telling people, we are telling the world, you can be shaken to your roots and still stand firm. There's no amount of resource you commit to our hands. Even if it burns in smoke, we will drive it back. And one of the key elements for that as well is I've watched this business grow from nothing to something. So I know that if it goes to nothing, the same grace that grew it from nothing to something is available to go it again for as long as we are not tired. So in this world, the world is currently going through a crisis together. And I want to say to you out there, if you have been, pushed back to your home, you're not making daily income, these are things that are tough. These are times to learn how to work remotely. So these are times to develop the capacity to be able to, and the tools. There are loads of tools, loads of apps that help you to work remotely. So Zoom, for example, allows us to see each other. Slack allows us to be able to chat and enjoy and have conversations in office kind of environments. Learn those tools. Google Hangouts allows us to connect and see each other as well. Learn those tools. There are tools for project management, much more than ever before. Companies will be driven towards efficiency, effectiveness, and ensuring that they can get value for people, even though they are not physically present. Some of the tools that they use, you have Trello, you have Microsoft Teams. These are things you need to begin to learn to use as well. Okay, and learn to be able to organize your life in projects and tasks to say these are the things I need to do, and be able to tick off on the things I need to do and report on the things that you're doing on a day-by-day basis, so that even if you're not there physically, this can be done. And guess what? This is also an opportunity for people from Nigeria, from places in the world that have not been used to these things, to begin to engage, to find how they can begin to engage their services internationally. Because guess what? If you're useful and very skilled at using these tools, using the skill sets, and managing your work from a distance with this, who says you can't get a company to work for in America, in Canada, in the UK? Okay, so that begins the pathway to do all of that. And of course, in the days to come, there will be a higher demand on effectiveness. So your ability to get a lot done within a little bit of time will become crucial. So how do you fill your life buckets? How do you, this buckets call 24 hours? How do I pack it with big stones? How do I pack it with pebbles? How do I pack it with sand? How do I pack it with water? How do I ensure that the things I need to get done in a day gets done and nothing that is important suffers? I need to learn the habits of effectiveness. I need to learn how to be proactive. I need to learn how to, how to begin with the end in mind. I need to learn how to prioritize. I need to learn how to collaborate with others and be effective, in collaboration with other people. How to engage my emotional bank accounts, make deposits, make withdrawals, and create leverage. How to collaborate with others, how to synergize and achieve a lot more together with other people. So these are things that will become vital in these times. But guess what? Whatever crisis is happening, understand that the story is being written, and you don't die in that movie because you are the actor of your own business, you're the actor in your own space. You want to ride what you're doing and ride it through until it gets to a part of the story where it's a beautiful story. So I want to congratulate everybody who is here today that you're writing a beautiful story. Don't give up on that story. Give it everything that it takes. Like I said, I wanted to ensure that I don't take too much of our time so that we can have a little time for question and answers. Those are the key elements today. There's one other element, but I think it takes incredible amount of time to really break it down and make it clear. But I think at this junction, I can pause. And then if there's any other thing that borders on becoming highly effective, I can answer that as question and answers begin to come. Thank you very much, Chris.
Man, this is massive. This is massive. This